Wait, is this recording?
Floodgates,
Yeah, we're on.
What, dude? No. Okay, this is where you got to start it when I have the glove on. I can't put it on like when it's. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just cut it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going. How about now? Can you?
Yeah.
Better.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good. That guy, he should be hung for treason.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore. I was gangster. I was like, what? He's doing that freaking...
That guy, that is the biggest betrayal in history. I would not hire somebody with characteristics like that. It's like, how could you do that?
That was like probably one of the biggest middle fingers I've ever seen.
And I don't think it worked out that good for them too as a PR campaign.
Yeah,
you know? I think a lot of people felt the same way that we did. Like,
I wonder how that went down. Like, you know, who is it? He went to?
So he was originally with Verizon and then
Sprint.
Yeah,
it's like, what do we do? I mean, he's not working right now. Like, let's get this dude.
Yeah, but like it's one thing if you cross industries. Yeah, but he was like in the same industry.
Yeah,
and just did him dirty.
Yeah, man.
That's like if Flo from Progressive went to a different
like Farmers or something. Yeah.
Yeah, if she went to Allstate.
Dude, she's making bank.
Yeah, I heard that she's almost a billionaire.
Yeah, she's killing because like she has so many commercials, and every time it's played,
it's a residual.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
She's that's what I hear. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in that industry, so I don't know. But that's what I've heard is that she's killing it.
So would you rather be a commercial actor and get paid off your residuals, or would you rather be a movie star?
I don't know. So one thing I don't like about being a movie star is all the like attention outside of the movies that you get. Like, you know, you can't live a normal life.
Yeah. Keep in mind, Mike is also more low key. He chose invisibility over flying. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. That's like I wouldn't want to go out and have someone follow me around like 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's tough. I wouldn't like that lifestyle.
And it's weird. It could get real weird.
Yeah, yeah.
You can meet some freaks out there.
And then everyone's trying to read into everything you're doing.
You're under just this constant scrutiny.
Yeah.
I'd be a movie star.
Why?
So I can finally get the gig of rubbing baby oil on The Rock's arm. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't know. Like, for all of what we just talked about in terms of like the negative parts of being a movie star, I just think it'd be cool, man. I think like I view that as another like art form on screen. Yeah, and I think to be able to like see yourself execute, you know, like things like that. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It's like YouTube on a much greater scale.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
I don't know what I would do. I think I'd probably be a movie star. Because I have a tremendous ego and lots of insecurities that need to be validated by outside people who don't actually matter.
But you know, like for me, how I kind of think about it is like, you know, when you're a kid and you just like your imagination goes wild and you can be like fighting an invisible whatever, you just make up whatever. And in your mind, it seems so real. But to be able to do that as an adult, see it on screen, I don't know. That's just what I think of. It's like being a little kid all over again.
Isn't it funny how you can do that as a kid? Like, you know, like fight an invisible something,
not
and
everyone judge you.
You know, and and everyone thinks it's cute. But if you start to do that as an adult, well, people are like, "Oh my god, he's a crackhead.
Something's wrong with you."
Yeah.
So that would be my, I don't know, be pretty cool, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I want to extend our icebreaker a little bit further. And by the way, everyone, you are tuned into episode 12 of the Jadacast podcast. I am Jordan.
I'm Daryl.
I'm Mike.
And before we actually get into our first order of business, I want to break the ice with something else. So the other day, I went to a restaurant by the name of Lucille's Barbecue. Bomb ass place, you know. And I ordered takeout. So every time I go and do takeout, I kind of see it as like, if you were to go to like, a fast food joint, which you pay and then you eat, peace out. So as they're showing you all of their food, the person who is showing me everything I ordered, he's really nice. His mood is good. He's very enthralled. And then he prints out my actual paper to sign. And they always have like, that tip portion. And every time I get takeout, I don't tip. And I noticed that as I hand it back to him and there's no tip on it, his mood just completely changes. His shoulders slouch. He looks at me he's like, have a nice night. And like, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. And I'm like, am I the only person who doesn't tip after takeout?
I don't.
It makes no sense, right?
I don't usually go to larger restaurants for takeout. So I don't know.
Would you?
I mean,
it doesn't make sense.
See, the thing is our culture is kind of based on, or that part of our culture is based on tipping.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to say Japan, that you don't tip for anything over there. There's a little bit of a change though going on here in this country. Like there's a couple of stores or restaurants that I've been to where they encourage no tipping. They don't want it. They don't accept tips because what they do is they'd rather pay their employees more money. Damn it, Brian. They'd rather pay their employees more money than have them work harder, less money, and work harder for a tip.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd rather have, from the very beginning, they just get more money.
You know what my problem with it is? The entitlement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, I have a problem with entitlement just in general with, like, today's generation or society.
Damn
and
kids.
So when you think that, like, it's because the job and you did your job that you should be getting extra, Like, my whole thing is if I see that you're going out of your way and your service is really good, it's hard to judge that off takeout.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what you're coming from. It's like when you're sitting down at the restaurant, you're getting served service. You're getting your drinks refilled. You're getting plates taken away for you. You're, if something goes wrong or like you spill something, they're there to clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking if you want a refill on water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like more than once an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long are you staying at restaurants?
I mean,
hey, some of our conversations get really deep.
Yeah. Especially if it's at Korean barbecue.
Dude, last night, man, I was at BJ's watching a game, and we were there for the whole game, this Dodger game last night. And then it went.
Did they win?
Yeah, they won, and they went to 13 innings, and it took forever.
Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, the guy was there like every 30 minutes at least, asking if we want more drinks.
Okay, so I get that. I'm cool with that.
See, here's the thing. I like to think that I'm a great tipper. I tip a good amount. Mm-hmm. So if I feel like, you're going out of your way for me, like even just a little bit, I'm going to leave you a pretty good tip.
Yeah.
But like I said, call me crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your job.
It really is.
So.
And to be honest, I think that the person who I should be leaving a tip to is probably the chef or the cook. I mean, he's the real MVP in the situation, but it doesn't work like that. He doesn't get nothing.
But like some of these guys who are working, maybe they're like trying to work harder for that tip, right? Rather than getting paid to do a good job. Yeah. They're paid a minimum wage and they're expecting to get more money. So that's why they do a good job.
Yeah.
So I kind of can see both sides to it. He's busting his ass and trying to be extra fake. That's basically what it is. Like, not everyone is naturally super nice. Of course. And especially since he switched it off as soon as he saw you didn't have a tip there. That it was just a facade.
It's takeout.
But here's the other thing for me, I think. Okay, even though I'm like very unlikely to leave a tip for a takeout, it's all about your approach with me at the very least. I feel like if I walked in and you greeted me with like a very nice, like warm welcome, and you asked me like, and just in conversation of like, hey, I'm here to pick up my to-go order for Daryl, right? And then small conversations like, oh, how's your day going? Or, you know, things like that. And I felt that it was pretty genuine. Dude, I'm not that easy. I'm pretty easy to win over. Like at that point, I might actually legitimately think about like leaving you something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you seem to be a little bit more like
I'm very
pressed, but
like I'm very fair. I think I tip very well, especially at like for servers at a restaurant. But it's just like, you know, okay, if I get takeout, it's the exact same thing as me going to Carl's Jr. or something, you know, but like I don't tip that guy.
I guess where I'm coming from is like if the person was asking me like how my day is going in passing and then like kind of showing like what you order, make sure it's right. If there's anything else that I can get you, like utensils or what, or like you all want a cup of water or something like then at that point I'd be like, damn, I'm gonna leave you a tip.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Going above and beyond.
Yeah.
What you're expected.
Because not only are you doing your job, but now you're putting forth more of an extra effort.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, hey, here to pick up an order for Daryl. Okay, your total is going to be so-and-so. Have a nice night. Okay. I'm not going to leave you a tip.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Just my 2 cents.
I think a place as to where I leave a tip and I really don't see why I'm leaving a tip, but I do because I go there so often is if I go to like Korean barbecue restaurants because I'm cooking my own damn food. I'm doing all of the work and I'm just paying you to put something in. I'm on an iPad and bring me the food. But I still leave a great tip. And well, Korean barbecue is pretty damn expensive. So, you know, I leave a good tip every time I go. But in my head, I'm like, why am I paying extra for this?
Oh, it just comes down to
you're
the
paying
service.
extra to smell like meat on your way out.
That too. Meat sweats.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
Yeah, see? I
So
told you it was a thing.
So it's not. So it is a real thing, but it's not just because of meat. They say that because to break down that much protein, your body's thermogenesis is, you know, it's very high. You know, and so that's why you start to sweat more if you eat meat.
All right. Well, you know, I wasn't getting that scientifically. I'm just telling you it was a thing.
I believed it was a thing. It was just weird to me. I was like, whoop, meat sweats. I've never had that before in my entire
Well,
life.
backstory. When I first met Jordan, I told him about we were having like or when Jordan first started here.
Tacos.
We were having tacos. We were having a celebration in our warehouse with, you know, the entire company, and I had one too many carne asada tacos, and we were just standing there. It was a little warm in the warehouse, and I said, dude, I'm getting some meat sweats. He had never heard of that term.
You're sweating meat?
And as he said that, I'm wiping sweat off my forehead, but I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
I wasn't there for that day.
You weren't?
You sent a picture of Doritos off your balcony.
Yeah.
You were somewhere. You emailed a picture.
Where was I? I don't remember. I know I was gone somewhere. Do you remember?
Hawaii or something?
Doritos on my balcony?
No.
It was cloudy in the picture too.
It was cloudy in the picture.
Yeah.
I was on a balcony with Doritos.
Well, you're in Japan.
Was that
Was it
Japan?
You're in Japan. Yeah.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I thought it
I'm
was.
gonna
just
go
like
back and look for that email.
I think you're like on the way to the airport or coming back from the airport or something.
Oh.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it Cinco de Mayo or something?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
I forget. Anyways.
Yeah, all I know is that it was chips.
Yeah.
But yeah, meat
While you
sweats.
guys are enjoying carne
Tacos.
asada, I'm having chips.
Good times.
Well, so I guess I'm not an asshole for not leaving a tip for takeout. So all right,
No.
so we got that squared away.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think it's all fair.
Yeah. I mean, tip is always optional.
Mm-hmm.
It's not mandatory.
That's what I'm saying, though. The entitlement of it.
Yeah.
Like, ugh,
Yeah.
you know?
That's
What did you do? Like,
Yeah, you
did you go above and beyond for me to, or are you just expecting because part of culture or, you know, in today's societies, like, it's expected. Like, I don't know. I'm just a believer in, like, if you put in the work, then you get rewarded.
Yeah, sometimes if the service is bad, I leave a tip anyway just because I know I'll be coming back and I don't want them to spit in my food or put other bodily fluids in my food. So, so I'll leave a tip. It won't be a high one. It'll be like very standard, but I'm like, I come here all the time. Well, this person sucked today, but who knows who I'll get next time. But I'm pretty sure they have like a list of faces up there of like bad tipper spitting this guy's food. I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah. Mm.
Do you tip the driver when you park at the airport and the shuttle guy that takes you from the parking spot to the airport?
I can't say anything to that because I haven't flown in a decade. So
I don't.
You don't?
Do you?
I do.
Oh.
I don't know why. I mean, I feel obligated. I mean, it's a buck. It's not like I'm breaking the bank or anything, but
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but something I tip really generously on, and I hate doing it because it just burns a big hole in my pocket, to me at least. But I can't stop doing it.
Strippers.
I just can't stop. Nah.
Sorry.
For all of you out there, I do not partake in
We might have
strippers.
to take that part out.
No, it's funny. It's funny. No, but for haircuts.
I knew it.
Dude.
I was going to say, can I guess?
Yeah.
And I knew you were going to say haircut.
Dude, I pay. I'm gonna feel stupid for saying this too, but I pay $40 every time I get a haircut.
Wow.
So my haircut is about $10, and then for my beard, it's another $10. And so a guy who cuts my hair, I used to give him like a $10 tip each time. Mm-hmm. However, back then his prices, it was only maybe $20 back then, and so I got accustomed to giving him that much. Mm-hmm. But as his prices rose, I still gave him $10 tips. Yeah. And like, you can't give somebody a lower tip than what you used to give them, because they'll be like, what the hell? Yeah. So it's like, I'm kind of locked in on this one, and man, I hate it.
It's necessary. Yeah. Must be nice to be you, Mike.
Yeah, I know. I cut my own hair. Give myself my own tips.
All right. Well, by the first order of business. So what do we got here, Mike? On the table for all of you who aren't watching the Jadacast podcast, you guys are missing out because we got some pretty cool products on our table today. Could you take us through it today, Mike?
Yeah. So this is a mix between our figural line and our vehicle line, and it's based on the DC Bombshells. DC, if you don't know, DC Bombshells are the heroes of the DC comic world, but in a 50s style, like pinup girl style.
And these were actual comic books published back in the day.
I don't think they're that old, actually. I think that these came out, I'm not sure how long ago, but within the last 5 years. Yeah, it was an artist who kind of reimagined all the superheroes in this nostalgic era, and came up with these characters and their looks. And I think they did make comic books on them. I don't know if it was originally a comic book or just art.
It was a run of just DC Bombshells.
Comics? Yeah. So it was a run of comics, and and some companies have made dolls and like taller, bigger figures. We're doing our metal fig execution, yes, but we're pairing them up with a car that we think matches that style for each character. So we have Wonder Woman.
None other than Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we got Wonder Woman with a 1952 COE. So we picked the cars that we think best represents the character that was already created by the artist, whoever came up with this whole idea. I forget her name. But anyways, we'll probably put that up on.
Damn it, Brian! Like, why don't you know this?
We also got Harley. She is in her like little bomber outfit. So we did a Merc with a F-51 Mercury coupe with kind of like a bomber jet graphic. It has like little bombs on the side, how many hits, and I don't know. I think it looks really cool.
The entire line looks awesome.
Yeah,
It really does. It really does.
It's pretty awesome.
And I'll be posting the video clips of this within our podcast onto YouTube so that everybody is able to see a better view of them.
Yeah, and what's cool about them is that they're not just sticker slapped vehicles. It's not like we just got their logos and just started putting them all over the place and trying to make these cars look like character cars. No, we kind of figured, what would these characters drive if they were to fix up a car and put it in a car show? Something that you'd see. This is not really a Toyetic type line. This is a collector line. This is also a more realistic kind. I mean, if I were to see any of these vehicles at a car show, I mean, I'd be like, "Whoa, these are pretty cool." Especially if like the owner was Poison Ivy, and how much it represents her.
It would be dope if for Comic-Con, if we were like able to make all of these cars and then have cosplayers dressed up exactly like that.
That would be awesome.
That would, yeah.
I mean, I would love to do that.
That would
That'd
be one
cool.
big booth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be. I mean, I'll be happy just doing the Mercury though. I think that's my favorite one.
Okay. So we got Wonder Woman there.
Yep.
Harley Quinn and the Mercury there, and then who else do we have?
We got Catwoman with a Cadillac. We have Batgirl with a Corvette. Poison Ivy with a Bel Air, and Supergirl. She has a stepside pickup.
Yeah. Okay, these are pretty sick. And so, but you had mentioned that you guys tried to imagine a car that each heroine would probably drive. And so what went on behind the scenes for you guys to analyze that type of choice?
Well, first we had to make sure that it was era specific because these characters are based in what the late 40s, early 50s, around there, that time frame. And we had to make sure that those cars were within those years. Mm-hmm. And then we looked at the characteristics of the character, right? So we have like Catwoman. She's more elegant, kind of like Audrey Hepburn. So we wanted more of an elegant style car with like little bits and pieces that kind of resembled who she was. We couldn't put her in a sports car really because we don't see those that the Cadillac was perfect because it's an elegant looking car.
It's elegant and it's also kind of a subtle thing too.
Yeah.
Like and like her character, she is a burglar.
Yeah,
essentially,
exactly.
So she can't be all flashy and all that stuff. So sort of, under the radar in a way.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the kind of things that we considered. With the Wonder Woman and the COE that we did, some of the lines that were perfect for like the badge on the front of the hood was perfect for the Wonder Woman logo, and we have pinstriping that goes all down the sides that just stick with the style of the era. Plus, we can incorporate the logos from the character.
Yeah.
And you'll see that kind of stuff throughout the whole line. All those little details.
And what is your favorite one?
My favorite one is probably Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Harley looks awesome.
It's very World War II inspired.
Yeah,
definitely.
Very much so.
Yeah. So for the DC Bombshell line, this is our first run or wave at it. Do we plan on maybe doing some more with no characters in specific yet? But do we plan on doing this a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, as long as the popularity of these things keep going, because this will be in the Hollywood Rides line, and that our Hollywood Rides line is doing really well, and we are continually feeding it. We have these. We have already the Marvel inspired vehicles out as well, and there's a lot more coming down the pipeline. But yeah, the Bombshells I think were one of the more fun lines that we did because it's just cool. I mean, and also the era of cars. There's not a lot of this style car that we have on the market. It's right now it's all muscle car, JDM, and trucks.
Yeah.
And some of the trucks here are also in the Just Trucks line, but we don't have a lot of hot rods anymore right now.
Yeah.
And this allows us to bring out more hot rod vehicles to the market.
It's another way to differentiate also, I think, across to Mike's point, like all of our different product offerings, and to kind of allow for a little bit of creativity when it comes to planning, like what this entire line is gonna look like. And when we're talking about inspired by vehicles, it is doing really well. And a few podcasts ago we mentioned that our sales team analyzes week over week, day by day, the sales of how things are doing in terms of tracking. A lot of the inspired by vehicles are doing pretty well, and we've had a few discussions with some of our partners about the possibility of expanding into different or adding more properties to the line. So for sure, it's definitely something to hopefully continue to expand.
And so what was the sort of aha moment when like we started to realize, we could blend our figure side with the vehicle side, but then try to make, a unique spin on that. So when did that come to fruition?
Well, actually, we've done this for a long time. We didn't make full lines out of it, but in the past we have done figures with vehicles. And way back, I don't know if very many people know this, but I don't know if you want to make this like kind of a trivia thing, but there is
another okay. Another Easter egg.
There way back. I mean, I'm talking almost 20 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. We had a vehicle. I want to say it's probably our first entertainment license that came with a car, a 24 scale car, and a figure. And this one's hard.
Yeah.
I remember seeing.
I'm trying to think.
This one's really, really hard.
Whoever out there is able to figure this one out, I'll send you a good amount of swag of of Jada Toys products and stuff like that. But
to tell you the truth, I highly doubt very many people will have an image or this product in hand. Unless you're a hardcore Jada collector.
We're looking for the OGs.
This is I'm telling you, this is way back. This is before the Jada there's a couple Jada toy logos that we've gone through. This one, we have this oval kind of logo, right? And that evolved from our rainbow logo that had this oval around it. But before that, there was a circle logo that we had with this more playful Jada typeface. And man, that's the logo that was on this product. So this one's way back.
This is you said first entertainment. License?
It is the first entertainment license.
You're gonna have to tell me off air what this is.
Yeah.
Now it's bugging me because I don't know.
If you know a little bit about the stuff that we've been working on for next year, for our.
I think I have an idea.
Yeah.
I think I have an idea.
Zero.
Yeah, but yeah, no, this is a tough one. I mean, this is for the hardcores. I mean, I was trying to find a reference of it online. And
I think I know. Okay, I think I know.
And I couldn't find one. Okay. And I just know I remember seeing one sample here in the office somewhere, and I can't find it anymore.
Okay. Oh.
And this was probably years ago.
All right, I'm just gonna confirm with you off air.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, I'm pretty sure I'll be sending some samples to what's his name? To Andy. Goodman, because he's probably the only one who has it.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that may be one of the ones he's. If anyone were to have it, it's him, for sure. So that was way back. We didn't call it Hollywood Rides. It was just an entertainment license that we did. We included a figure with a car. And fast forward to maybe 8 years ago, we did that with Halo. We had our vehicles with a little tiny action figure, and those are really cool because they were articulated like 2-inch action figures. They weren't die-cast, but they were action figures that you can put on the on the little cars. They worked with our 24 scale diecast. Yeah, they were really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they were for 64, right? Size.
We made the figures?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were for 64.
Yeah, so they were smaller, and yeah, they were really cool. So I love that line. I think that line was really cool, and that kind of was the stepping stone for us to get into more action figures with our Master Toy license with the RoboCop movie, and from there, people started to look at us and consider us a major, not a major player, but a competent company that can do action figures right.
Right.
And then from there we started evolving and doing different things, and we wanted to stay with our what we do best, which is diecast, and we just combined the figure part with the diecast and started our Hollywood Rides line.
I think the overall perception too throughout the years is like, well, Jada always started as a diecast heavy collector driven vehicle company. Right. I suppose like would that be how you would classify it, right? When how we started. But now I think over the years of evolution, Jada is considered a legit toy company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not just diecast. Although it's still our core competency and the bulk of what we do, we've actually segmented off pretty nicely in different categories throughout the years.
What's funny is when I read like articles on like metal figs and back before it was metal figs, when it was just metals diecast, people would say, so this new company or this company that does figures, and apparently they do vehicles as well.
Yeah.
This is the whole figure like side. Nobody really knows Jada at all until we started doing these figures, and they thought of us as a figure company first, vehicles second.
Right.
And that was pretty funny because they didn't know the history of what we were up to.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works out, right?
Yeah, no, it's a trip because like, you're reading this and like, wow, really they really don't know who Jade is. And you realize that this world is big, as we think that, because we play mostly in this vehicle and car culture bubble, we don't really see what's outside of that. And once we started doing the figure stuff, there's a lot of people out there that still don't know who Jada is. And because we started doing these figures and because we started venturing out into doing other things like dolls and preschool RC and all these other categories, now we're becoming a household name as a legit toy company.
Yep.
Right. So what other types of categories have we started to get into that have wielded some pretty good results for us?
I mean, it's not anything I think like new category wise as of recent more than it is. I think this has taken years to establish ourselves in, like if you're talking about a new category, for instance, diecast and radio control is not something that we ever had to, further cement because we've always been players in it. But I think one good example is preschool.
Mm-hmm.
That probably started for us maybe like several years ago when we first partnered with Sanrio and doing Hello Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
When we started doing the Hello Kitty RC and we started doing, like play sets and things like that, obviously geared more towards little girls and preschool. That's kind of where we got our foot in the door. And the same thing that kind of happened with like action figures happened with, the preschool category, in which we started to grow that portfolio by now partnering with Disney, and you got like Mickey and Minnie, right, with our basic RCs and things like that. And over the course of the last couple of years, continuing to evolve that portfolio to get it to where it is now.
It is a tough road, man, because all along the way, whenever we're trying to get licenses that were non-vehicle, they're like, why do you guys want our license? You're a vehicle company. We had this stigma attached to us that we're strictly vehicles. Then once we finally got a license, they're like, why are you trying to sell me action figures? You're a vehicle company. When we go to the retailers. So every step of the way we were getting fought on, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And now that, a few companies have given us the chance to show them what we can do, and then a few retailers allowed us to bring the product in because they saw the quality that we are able to achieve. Now we're being looked at totally different. Now it's not Jada Toys, the vehicle company. We're Jada Toys, the toy company.
Yeah.
And from your guys' firsthand experience, how would you attribute it to us being able to win them over?
Quality and innovation.
Quality and innovation.
And also, I think when we talk about being good partners, like we are legitimate good partners. And we've had this discussion in the past before on previous podcasts where whether that means servicing the relationship and anything that they need when you're talking about a particular retailer or working with a licensing partner on executing to the best of our ability, the product to do the property justice, and how can we take it one step further and go beyond expectation. At Jada, we always pride ourselves, like we just talked about, the quality and craftsmanship of every single product. Mike and his team kills it in everything that they do. June and the figural, the PD side of it, kill it in everything that they do.
Let me give you an example of like when we do something, the quality and the execution is like worked for us to help. We made, I think our first partner with the metals diecast line was Warner Brothers and the Batman vs Superman. So we had these metals diecast figures, right? We brought them over to all the retailers and like all these different places, and they showed it to them. Oh, we got diecast figures. Now, typically, diecast figures on the market doesn't mean that they're diecast figures. They may have like a diecast part, and they can call it diecast because there's a diecast piece in there.
But you're allowed to do that?
I don't know what the legality of it is, but yeah, I mean,
Seems a little.
that's that was the trend. But when we brought these figures over to the retailers and said these are diecast figures, and they're like, oh, they look plastic, and you can't tell. As soon as we put it in their hand, they're like, whoa, you feel the weight. You should look at the paint, and how we executed the deco, and the quality that you feel. I mean, the cold touch of diecast. There's something about that makes it feel more quality than a plastic piece. Same with the weight. And when they see that, they're like, wow, maybe we should try to give these guys a chance. And plus, like we talked about in past podcasts, our price structure is really affordable because we want, the regular person to be able to afford these things and be able to collect these things. And that plus our quality, it's like shock and awe when we show it to them for the first time.
Right.
And that's what kind of got us here.
And when it comes to being a good partner, obviously a lot of the relationship has to be cultivated. You do have to go above and beyond. Is it ever kind of an intimidating thing as to where, but you guys knew that you went above and beyond, but now you'll have to do it again later on, but you're thinking about, like, how am I supposed to crank out more of what I just did? I just gave this project 110%. I don't know if I'm able to, to rise up and do something even better than before. But somehow you end up doing something better and better each time. But from a mental standpoint, how do you prepare for that?
I think I don't really look at it that way. Just because I feel like we take 100% pride and have 100% confidence in everything that we do. But what's very helpful, I think, is when you partner with like a particular retailer or a particular licensing partner, they will typically give you feedback. They will typically give you a direction to go down towards, and it's up to us at that point to further explore, to expand on the concept or idea and present it back to them and kind of, is this like roughly what you mean, or along those lines, they'll usually tell us like what they see and what's trending and whatnot. And that usually helps us out. But I think you only really get to that part when there's trust established, when they start truly understanding like what your capabilities are as a partner. Because then at that point, like, why would they, what reason have you given them for them to trust you? I feel. So really, again, going back to servicing their needs, or anytime like maybe a particular retailer was wanting, exclusive something, and we go out of our way to kind of create these things for them to establish a good track record. I think all those things play a part in doing so. And over time, I think through everything that we execute, then they know Jada stands for excellence when it comes to the product that we create. They already know like what we're capable of. Therefore, they don't need to see samples, versus maybe the first time they want to see a couple. But because they know, again, given our track record, our history, our competency, they already trust us.
Yeah, that trust. What's nice is that you can see how much the partners trust you, because like especially in the retail side, before when I started working here, we're constantly pitching the retailers. Oh, this is what we got. Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? Now they're like want to work with us. Like, hey, you guys should do this, and they're giving us some of the ideas as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we start working on those things and working with them, and becoming a true partnership. Whereas before we were just trying to push items to them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, those are cool. Let me see if we can fit those in."
Yeah.
But now they're like, "Hey, Jada, we got a spot here that I think would work, and we think you guys can do an excellent job at it.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you take a stab at it and see what you guys can come up with?" And it's a two-way street now. Now instead of us just trying to pound it and to get to them, they're coming to us and saying, "Hey, you guys have this opportunity. What do you think?"
Interesting.
And typically, like if that wasn't the case in terms of them being initiating something with us, and it was vice versa where we're initiating something with them, we give them valid reasons and points as to why maybe they should be taking on a new line, even though space is a little bit tight. And usually, more or less, our strategies are pretty solid, and we're thinking about these things like months, years in advance, in terms of like, okay, if you run this, then it can turn into this, and then blah blah. Like it just opens up more opportunity, I think, for business in the long run. So we're able to kind of position ourselves in that strategy in that way for them to understand and kind of start getting them thinking as we look, like a year down the line, possibly.
Do you guys think that trust should be earned, or trust should be handed out?
Well, I mean, everyone's fighting for the same space, right? And if the retailers are just giving everyone the same opportunity, I mean, it's fair, but they want to make money.
Yes.
So they have to give their true trust to the companies that they know can execute. That's what I think.
Agreed, 100%. I don't think trust should just be given outright.
Yeah,
I think you got to earn that.
yeah.
Okay, how about from maybe, okay, if we're not talking about to retailers and to partners, how about from maybe a manager to a team member? How about that? What do you guys think on that?
I think on some sort of like, for me, at the very least, like I go into things, at least I like to think that I go into things with a very open mind. I'm a very trusting person, but until you do something to me or to the detriment of the team, I think that's when you lose it. I think initially you have it, and it's up to you and me to build that relationship and that trust factor up even higher, and continue to build it. But again, until something happens that affects, I think, the overall morale or relationship, I think for me, it's all good.
I think it's like there's levels of trust. So like for me, that if I just meet them for the first time, or if they're working for me and I didn't interview them from the very beginning, they have this level of trust that I can give them. So there's certain things I can trust them with or do. But as I get to know them, they either go higher on that trust level, so I can give them more, things that are more, I don't know what that
responsibility.
More responsibility.
They've demonstrated like a capability or ability to continue to progress in one way, shape, or
That's
form.
exactly what I was trying to say, and I
Right.
couldn't say it.
I said it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because then at that point, like, you either have a team member that's willing to kind of go above and beyond to continue to push themselves in terms of constantly finding something to do, an area to improve.
Yeah.
Right. Or somebody that just kind of goes with the flow and just kind of waits for you to tell them what to do.
But as a manager, you kind of see what you can trust certain people with, and where they excel, and what you should like stay away from giving to certain people, because you know that either they have trouble with it, or you can tell that they're not comfortable with doing certain things. That they try to so they'll either back burner certain projects because it's something more difficult for them to do. So you have to make sure you give the right project to the right people.
I think to build off that a little bit, I guess for me is if I saw that, I think I would take it as a responsibility also to slowly train. I think, the person that I've maybe hasn't demonstrated the capability to do something maybe to the level as the next person, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it. Right. And so then that would be a scenario where trust is earned. Right. Because I'm doing my due diligence to put in the time and the effort to train this person to be able to one day do it. But as we go through this process together, once we get to the end, you probably will have earned my trust to be able to handle possibly something that comes the next time around.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, like I want to train these people to be able to do certain things that they're not maybe trained to do from school or whatever. But also I want to encourage them to do what they want to do. So if they're not into doing something that I want them to learn, I'd rather push them towards something that they do want to do so they can really excel and they're excited to learn. I don't kind of like a parent. If you're a parent, my parents were open to whatever I wanted to do. So they were encouraging. When I first started school, I went to veterinary medicine, and I and I had to get out of that, and because all these weird reasons, I got allergic to animals and whatever.
Oh,
and
interesting.
So I got out of that, and then I went to design, and they didn't get mad because my mom's a doctor. She wanted me to go into. I'm sure she wanted me to go into the medical field, and veterinary medicine was close enough, but she didn't push me away from wanting to become a designer after that. So she just encouraged me to do what I wanted to do and what I was already excelling at. So I think I kind of take that same approach with the guys that work with me, because if they are doing something that they really like and they want them to go beyond their limits, because everyone has like a point where they can't do more than they already are, but I think they can go further if they're into it.
Wow.
Like I have an illustrator may not want to go into 3D design, because sometimes like illustrators like to draw with their hands. 3D design is different. That's pushing pixels around, and some illustrators don't like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to push them towards something like that if they don't want to do it. I'd rather have them excel at what they really want to do and get them to the next level.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, I think it's again, I think when you're responsible for people under you, I think to be able to identify and recognize that, going back to like who's got that drive and is going to put forth that initiative to better themselves and further themselves because they want to, as opposed to somebody that's going to just kind of wait and see. So like the approach is a little bit different, I think, for both. But I think once you have a feel for it, then it just kind of becomes, I think, pretty second nature, I feel, as you go along the process. So all interesting things that you pick up.
Yeah.
I feel.
Well, there's an old quote I read. I don't know who it was by, but it said, if you give me 100%, well, then I'll give you 110%. If you give me 90%, I'll give you 0. And just that type of mentality. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go back to some of the points that you were saying, Mike, about your upbringing and your mother still encouraging you to switch over. Isn't it amazing of how someone's upbringing is able to influence so many other people? Because you have a team of guys who work under you, and because your mother had so much empathy and understanding of the path that you chose to go on, it's positively affected all of them, and then everyone in their world too. Isn't it amazing of just like a domino effect that a parent can have on somebody? It's crazy.
The way you treat people is infectious, I think.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like as the guys that are working with me grow, they take what I've taught them and instill it on whoever works underneath them in their future. That'd be cool.
That's always the hope. It's like that whole pay it forward mentality.
Yeah.
I feel. If you can make a lasting impression on somebody's life, even if just for a moment, right? I think that's what makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
Because then that person, whoever it was always going to be remembered in some way, shape, or form. I think as you continue to grow, as anybody continues to grow, it's so important to find like that one mentor in your life. Maybe not one. Maybe you have more than one.
Oh yeah,
right.
Sure.
Not saying that it's like the one thing, but it for sure helps elevate and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of speed through the process.
Yeah, to expedite it.
There you go. Just based on the knowledge and experience that they can give you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, it's also the person that kind of sets you on that right path. Right. Kind of makes that a little bit more clear for you as far as when it comes down to the time to make that decision for yourself in terms of like which road to go down, you have a clear understanding of what needs to be done because you understand it a little bit more.
It's funny. I was just thinking about your quote that you give me 90, I give you 0. But I think as a manager, it's your job to try to get that person to give you more than 90. Give you that 100%. If you can influence them and encourage them to give you that, then you're doing your job right.
Yes.
And so you don't just expect the 100%. You have to encourage them to give you the 100%.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to inspire. Yeah. As you said, you have to inspire them. Yeah. And with all of these things in mind, it really makes me start to empathize more and more with people who we all have seen who have taken that bad road to realize that, it probably wasn't their fault. It was probably the fault of somebody who came into their life at a really early age, taught them the things that shouldn't be taught to. They beat them down, they belittled all of their confidence, and then now they're spreading that around. It really sucks. It really sucks.
Yes and no. Yeah. Yes and no for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep we want to get into it.
Oh, we can get deep.
I mean, without diving way deep into it, I feel like regardless of, and this is just my opinion, but probably because it's just the way that I am. I think regardless of upbringing or past circumstances, at the end of the day, we all have a choice.
Absolutely. I agree.
We all have a choice to turn that page and find a different driver or mentality. So if you're surrounding yourself with people that are negative, that are belittling your dreams and telling you that you can't do it, that's your choice to stay in that crowd. And so then if you end up going around doing the same to people, that's by choice.
And that's on you.
And I think there's a fear somewhere in you because you're afraid to take that step to get out of it, or to try and you're afraid of putting in the work, I think, to get yourself higher, in my opinion. So that's why I say yes and no. And it all starts with self. You can have like external motivations and you can have all this positive affirmations, but if it doesn't start with you, I'm sorry. That's just kind of how I see it.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah, too. Sometimes though, people don't realize what they can have outside of what they're going through. And sometimes it takes someone else to open their eyes, or some kind of event or an experience to open their eyes to make them see that.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's kind of it's a hard thing to say. Like if someone is in a bad situation and they can get out of it, maybe, but then they just don't realize they're in a bad situation. It just, you need to. That's why I think it's always better to try to be as good to people as you can, no matter who they are, and hopefully you can reach them, and then hopefully it opens their eyes to something else. And
to that point, and I agree with everything you said. To that point, I think the other party has to be open to it.
Yeah.
Then that's the other key. Is if they're not open to it, then it's for nothing.
Yeah,
you can't help somebody
that doesn't want to be helped.
Exactly.
Nope. Well, I don't know a better place to end the podcast than right there. But you got something?
SEMA next week.
Oh, SEMA,
next week,
exactly.
Yeah, we're leaving for SEMA next not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow, but no, by the time this airs, it'll be next week. SEMA will be next week.
Damn.
Ready for a good time?
I really am.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm gonna be with the three amigos here. Yeah. Well, four amigos, but three on camera. And Brian over there. we still have to make those t-shirts. But excited. We're going to see some badass cars. We're going to have a cool booth. We're going to hit up some sand dunes. Because these two.
His truck's going to be in the show.
Yeah, so I won't be able to be driving around with you guys.
But my truck is free. Yeah, it'll be a good time. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to, I think, the food, obviously, the cars, I think, seeing old friends, meeting new ones, and just being around good energy.
Yeah. Just don't want the traffic.
Well, yeah. But that just comes with it. But, again, we've talked about it in multiple podcasts, but it's different.
Yes.
You're in a different city. You're changing the scene up a little bit. So it's fun. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to it. We're finally getting things falling into place with our booth. Yeah. We were just talking about this yesterday. Things are starting to line up finally in typical last minute Jada fashion.
Yep. So it looks like as of now, it looks like everything's going to get done just fine. We're good.
Yeah.
You see, some people, they would call it procrastination. However, if you understand how creative people work, sometimes creative people need that extra pressure to put that ass in gear.
It's not even that. I mean, yes, but the frustrating thing is like
it's not procrastination on our part, by the way.
We've been on this for.
It's not our fault.
We've been on this for some time now. It's just things happen. Sometimes.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
But so. SEMA next week, we will be doing some podcasts there. We will be having some content there. It's going to be totally awesome. So we will be there next week. Just a little bit of housekeeping at the end of episode 12 of the Jadacast podcast. If this podcast has given you any value whatsoever, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on all of our social media, and do us a favor. We'll send this to a friend. Spread it around. We're trying to make this a big thing. You can find us streaming on every podcast platform, on YouTube and Facebook. And that is all I got for you guys. So I am Jordan.
I'm Brian.
Mike.
I'm Daryl.
Damn it, Brian.
Just standing over that nice, expensive ass camera. We will see you next week. Peace out.
Later.